Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive? Today it's all about bulgur.
Bulgur.
Yeah, you know that grain you see everywhere these days? On menus, cooking shows, even at the grocery store. But what's the deal with
Oh,
it?
wait. Is it just a trend or is there something more?
That's what we're here to find out.
I think people might be surprised to learn just how much history is packed into this little grain, especially in Middle Eastern cooking.
Totally. And speaking of Middle Eastern food, that actually brings us to our source material for today's deep dive.
Okay.
We're looking at some info from a company called Shirdell.say. They specialize in Middle Eastern foods and, full disclosure, they do sell bulgur too.
So we'll hear a bit about what they have to offer.
Absolutely. But our main focus is bulgur in general. What it is, the benefits, how to use it, the whole nine yards.
Sounds good to me. So where do we begin?
Well, I got to start with the most basic question. What exactly is bulgur?
Yes, the fundamentals.
It's not just wheat, right?
Yeah.
And there's got to be something more to it than that. You're right. It's not just plain wheat. It starts with durum wheat, but then it goes through this process.
Yeah.
Parboiling, drying, and then it's ground up.
Okay, so parboiling, that's the key.
Exactly. That's what makes bulgur, well, bulgur.
So how does that change things?
Well, for one, it makes it cook way faster than regular wheat berries.
That's a win in my book. I'm all about those time-saving kitchen hacks. But, besides the speed, does parboiling do anything else, like nutritionally?
Now that you mention it, some research suggests that parboiling might actually make the nutrients in bulgur more available to our bodies.
Really?
It's still being researched, but it's pretty interesting, right?
Very cool. So not only is it convenient, but it could be giving us a nutritional boost as well.
Exactly. And speaking of nutrition, we should talk about what makes bulgur so good for you.
All right, let's hear it. Why should we all be adding bulgur to our plates? Give me the rundown.
Well, first off, bulgur is an excellent source of fiber.
Fiber, the magical nutrient. But seriously, why is fiber so important? Remind me.
Sure. You know, it's great for digestion, but fiber also helps us feel fuller for longer. So if you have some bulgur for lunch,
Yeah.
you're less likely to be raiding the snack drawer an hour later.
Okay, that's a benefit I can definitely get behind,
Isn't it?
especially in the afternoon when those cravings hit.
Right. But wait, there's more. Bulgur also has a good amount of protein for a grain.
Oh, nice. More protein is always a good thing.
It is. And if you're looking for plant-based sources of protein, bulgur is a great option.
So we've got fiber, protein. What else? There's got to be more to this super grain.
You bet. It's
Yeah.
also packed with essential minerals like iron and magnesium.
Hold on. Iron for energy.
It's the one.
Mhm.
And magnesium helps with so many things, from muscle function to blood sugar control.
Wow. Okay. So it's quick cooking, full of fiber and protein, and it's got these essential minerals.
Exactly.
I'm sold. Bulgur officially gets a spot in my pantry. But hey, we mentioned Shirdell.say earlier. Don't they have like different kinds of bulgur?
They do. They actually offer 3 varieties.
Okay, so spill the tea. What are they and what makes them different?
So they have a fine bulgur called, hang on, let me get this right, Bulgur Brung Fin Sidir.
Bulgur Brun Fin Sidir.
Got it. What's that one good for?
That one is excellent for salads, especially for a classic Middle Eastern dish called tabbouleh.
Tabbouleh. Now, for someone who's never tried it, how would you describe tabbouleh?
Think of it like a bright, fresh salad. Bulgur is the base, and then it's packed with tons of herbs like parsley and mint, diced tomatoes, cucumbers, and a lemony dressing. It's delicious.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
And the fine bulgur works perfectly because it soaks up all those amazing flavors.
Right, makes sense. So what about the other types of bulgur? What else does Shirdell have?
They also have a bulgur medium sidir. It's a bit heartier than the fine bulgur, making it super versatile.
Heartier, so you could use it for?
You got it. Soups, stews, or even as a substitute for rice.
Man, bulgur really is the answer to all my weeknight dinner dilemmas. Quick, healthy, and apparently super versatile. And last but not least, there's bulgur pilavlik grav midyat. This one's perfect, as the name suggests, for pilaf.
Pilaf. Okay, you have to tell me more about this pilaf. What is it exactly?
Pilaf is a classic Middle Eastern dish. You cook the bulgur with fragrant spices like cumin and turmeric, sometimes saffron too. You often add sautéed onions and maybe some nuts for a little crunch. It's incredibly aromatic.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
And this coarse bulgur, it holds its shape really well during cooking, which makes it perfect for pilaf.
So it won't get mushy.
Exactly. It stays nice and chewy.
Wow, so Shirdell really has a bulgur for every occasion, huh?
They do. And the best part, no matter which type you choose, bulgur is surprisingly easy to cook.
All right, talk to me. What's a secret? What do I need to know to master the art of cooking bulgur?
The secret is there's not much of a secret at all. Many types just need to soak in hot water and they're good to go.
Seriously, that's it. No complicated cooking process.
Nope, it's perfect for those busy weeknights when you need a meal on the table fast.
Music to my ears. So no excuses then, right? Even for beginner cooks like myself.
Exactly. You got this.
All right, so we've got the basics down, but I have a feeling there's even more to discover about bulgur.
Oh, you have no idea.
Let's dive deeper then.
Let's.
Okay, so you mentioned tabbouleh and pilaf before, and those are both dishes that always seemed a little, out of my league to make at home, like too complicated.
I see. Yeah, I get that. They might seem kind of fancy or intimidating at first,
Right.
but honestly, they're really not that hard once you break them down. And using bulgur, which cooks so fast, actually makes them even easier.
So you're saying I could actually make tabbouleh or pilaf in my own kitchen without like a culinary degree?
Absolutely. It's totally doable, even for home cooks.
Yeah.
And there's something really satisfying about creating these dishes yourself.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's something special about making dishes that have so much history and tradition behind them.
Exactly. Speaking of history, we were talking earlier about how bulgur has been a staple in Middle Eastern cuisine for centuries.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a connection between that long history and why it's becoming so popular now?
That's an interesting thought.
Like maybe in today's world where everything's so fast-paced, people are looking for something that feels more, authentic and connected to the past.
Right, like a sense of tradition.
Exactly. And bulgur definitely fits that bill. It's a food that's been enjoyed for generations.
It's like knowing that a food has stood the test of time gives it a certain, credibility.
And bulgur's versatility and health benefits really resonate with how people are eating today, too.
Right, everyone's so much more health conscious now, and there's a big push towards incorporating more plant-based foods.
Exactly. So, in a way, bulgur is both ancient and modern. It's this perfect bridge between tradition and innovation.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's like it's hitting all the right notes for today's food culture.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the health benefits either. I think people are rediscovering how much flavor bulgur can bring to a dish.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to get stuck in a rut with, the same old grains and ingredients, but there's a whole world of culinary possibilities out there just waiting to be explored.
I love that. And bulgur is such a great starting point for people who want to branch out to try something new, especially if they're looking to explore different grains.
Yeah, for sure. Now, before we completely wrap up our bulgur deep dive, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about sustainability.
Right.
You said choosing ancient grains like bulgur can be a more sustainable choice.
I did. A lot of ancient grains, and this includes bulgur, are known for being really resilient and adaptable.
Okay.
They can grow in all kinds of climates and soil conditions, which is awesome.
Okay.
And they often need less water and fewer pesticides than other crops.
So not only are we making a healthy choice for ourselves by eating bulgur, but we're also helping to support a more sustainable food system.
Exactly. It's a win-win all around.
It really is amazing how something as seemingly simple as choosing a different grain can have a positive impact, beyond just our own plates.
It's true. Our food choices have the power to affect so much more than just our own health.
Absolutely. They impact the planet and even future generations.
It's important to remember that food is more than just fuel. It connects us to nature, to culture, to each other.
Yeah.
And bulgur, with its rich history and everything we've talked about, the nutrition, the versatility, the sustainability, it really embodies that connection in such a beautiful way.
It does. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in our bulgur exploration today.
We have.
But before we move on to our final thoughts, maybe let's give our listeners some practical takeaways, just to sum everything up.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay, so first and foremost, if you haven't already, try bulgur.
Yeah, give it a shot.
It's easy to work into your meals, and it's so good for you. And remember, there are different types to choose from.
Oh, right. We talked about the fine bulgur for salads, the medium for soups and stews, and the coarse for pilaf.
Exactly.
Try them all and see which one's your favorite.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get creative. We've talked about some classic ways to use bulgur, but there are so many other possibilities.
Oh, for sure. Grain bowls, stuffed veggies, even breakfast porridge.
Bulgur porridge. That's still blowing my mind.
I know, right?
So versatile. All right, so let's talk practicalities. One of the best things about bulgur is how easy it is to prepare.
So easy. It's perfect for those busy weeknights. A lot of types just need a quick soak in hot water, and that's it.
Yeah, no complicated cooking required. Even I can handle that.
Anyone can.
All right, now let's recap those amazing health benefits one more time.
Okay.
So, bulgur is a great source of, what was it again?
Fiber to keep you feeling full and satisfied.
Right.
Protein for building and repairing tissues. Important minerals like iron and magnesium.
And let's not forget about that low glycemic index, which helps keep blood sugar levels stable and gives you lasting energy.
It's a nutritional powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget the cultural significance, too, especially in Middle Eastern cuisine.
Yeah. Food is about so much more than just what's on our plates, right? It's about history, tradition, and connecting with other cultures.
I agree.
Okay, now, before we jump to our final thoughts and officially wrap up our bulgur adventure, I want to touch on something you said earlier that's really stuck with me.
Okay, I'm curious.
Well, you were talking about how this growing interest in bulgur reflects a bigger trend of people exploring ancient grains.
It does.
And it seems like there's a real shift happening in how we think about food in general.
I think so, too. People are becoming so much more aware of the connection between food and well-being, and how our food choices impact the environment and even future generations.
Yeah, there's a real push towards eating more mindfully and making choices that benefit both our own health and the health of the planet.
I agree. And it's inspiring to see, right?
It is. And bulgur is such a great example of how a simple ingredient can actually reflect so many positive aspects of this changing food culture.
Well said.
Okay, so as we get ready to wrap up our bulgur deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question.
Right, hit me with it.
If bulgur is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to exploring ancient grains, what other hidden gems are out there waiting to be discovered?
Ooh, that's a good one. And I think the best way to answer that is for everyone to go on their own culinary adventures.
I love that. There's a whole world of flavors and textures waiting to be explored. So embrace your inner foodie and see where your taste buds lead you.
Like that.
All right, so on that note, let's transition to our final thoughts and bring this fascinating bulgur exploration to a close. It's really amazing to think about how much we've uncovered just by talking about this one grain bulgur.
I know, right? It's kind of a gateway to all these bigger conversations about food.
Totally. So for our listeners who are maybe thinking, okay, I'm sold, I want to try bulgur, or maybe even dive deeper into these ancient grains, what advice would you give them? Like, where should they start?
Well, I always tell people the best way to approach food is with a sense of curiosity, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to try new things, even if it seems a little weird or intimidating at first.
Yeah.
You never know, you might discover a new favorite flavor or texture.
That's so true. Sometimes the simplest things can lead to the most delicious surprises. Like, who knew this little grain bulgur had so much to offer?
It just goes to show that there's always something new to learn and explore in the kitchen.
Absolutely. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, like, where do I even begin? There's so many resources out there.
Oh, yeah. There are tons of great cookbooks and websites, food blogs. So many people sharing their knowledge about grains and plant-based cooking.
Yeah. And don't forget about the power of, like, community.
Oh, for sure.
Connecting with other people who love food, you know? Online or in person, it's a great way to learn and share ideas and just get support on your food journey.
It's so much more fun to explore food with other people.
Right. It's about connecting with the stories behind the food, the people who grow it, the traditions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think it's safe to say that bulgur is way more than just a trendy ingredient.
Well,
It's like a symbol of all the exciting things happening in the world of food right now. It's about connecting with tradition, exploring new flavors, and making choices that are good for us and good for the planet.
so well said. I hope our listeners feel inspired to keep exploring all the amazing foods out there.
Me too. So on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. What culinary adventure will you embark on next?
Happy exploring.
And until next time, happy eating.